Hello, everyone, and welcome back as always. We're back again.
Hi.
And we're so excited to be watching more of The Hobbit. We're watching movie 3.
Oh, wow, yeah.
The Battle of the Five Armies.
Oh, my goodness.
5 arms.
Not to take it
Five.
literally, I know. But what does that even entail? Who knows? So, we have a special guest today. We have Bofer with us.
Hi. I shaved. I'm wearing stripes.
Yeah, see
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm
way to
female
go,
now.
Buffalo.
I can't have a serious conversation with that hat. I love that hat so much.
So you were picked.
I like this guy. I like this character.
Well, they actually do volunteer too.
Yeah.
That's why I get so
Right,
excited
yeah.
about it. And and the ring, and we have our little props here.
That's
Yeah.
right.
My Elvish prop, and you have your even star.
Yeah.
We ended off last movie with Smaug going to Lake Town.
Yeah, he was
going
Not a good
down,
idea.
and he's
Going there,
gonna.
yes, that's gonna be
Who
very
knows what he's
scary.
gonna do? Well,
Yeah.
it looks pretty
Oh,
bleak
yeah.
for them.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And I remember seeing
in the
that
water.
in theaters,
Yeah.
and I freaked out because I'm like, because it was such a cliffhanger, and you want to know what happens right away. I know most of you read the books, but not reading the books, and he's like, what's going to happen
Yeah.
next? See, we had to wait a whole year for the next movie to come out. Yeah, so pretty cool, and we only have to wait a week, which is good.
Yeah.
That's right.
I actually have been really enjoying the extended version of The Hobbit because they actually have some fun, action-packed scenes that are very interesting and very, I think, important. Like with Thrain, we saw Thorin's father,
And we
they-
didn't know that was extended. We don't know.
Yeah,
what
you
it
guys
is.
wouldn't know
No,
that. I
no,
looked at it, I was
So-
like, I don't remember that
But
at
it's
all.
nice for us to not,
Yeah,
to get that connection,
Mhm.
that deeper
It was
connection.
good.
yeah. And it was so sad because it's like, oh, I found you, and now you're back into the
No, I
darkness.
really wanna say
Sorry.
goodbye.
But Thorin, you're not
Yeah.
crazy. He was still alive somewhere, but
Yeah.
he had one of the rings. They took off his finger to
Yes,
take
that-
the
Oh,
ring,
boy,
so-
crazy
yeah,
work
I had
there.
a-
yeah, so maybe that imprisoned him there. I'm not quite sure. And thank you, Katie, again, and a lot of you as well through our Patreon and through our YouTube, explaining like certain details that we ask, and we don't really
And I'm
know.
hoping that Gandalf can tell Thorin that he saw his dad.
I know. I
Yeah,
hope
that
so
would be
too, because Gandalf's still in the cage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes
I
through
hope
a
he
lot.
gets-
That wizard.
But he's got to get out of it.
Well, he definitely.
We know he's gonna get out of it.
I know you guys
that.
aren't worried because we did see him in The Lord of the
That's right,
Rings,
with
so
the
you should.
Lord.
Okay,
Yeah.
certain
That's the only
characters
thing
you're
that's
like,
triggering her.
Yeah.
yeah, there's
Growing
certain
your
characters you
brains.
know from
Yeah.
The Lord of the Rings. You're like, okay, well, they
It's just
survived somehow because. And also, just to let you know, we do have a fan in the background. You might hear the AC come on at some point, just because it's supposed to be really hot today. So
It's not a
that's that
YouTube
background.
fan, it's a real fan.
That's right.
We have a random YouTube fan right there going,
Yeah.
"Hi guys."
Although that would be fun.
That would be cool. That would be a lot of fun.
Oh,
Well,
That's
he'd
our
pass
fan.
out, or she
Yeah.
would pass out. We were talking about the different dwarf names, and you guys remember a lot of
Well,
them,
she
so that was good.
remembers
Yeah,
a
but you
lot.
remember a
We're
lot too.
trying. It's my homework.
And I was
now.
pretty
Yeah.
impressed. Yeah. Just to go into detail again, we have Thorin, of course, and he is supposed to be king under the mountain. They made it to the mountain. Smaug is on the loose now,
Oh,
but he
that's
is the
scary.
rightful king of Under the Mountain, of Erebor. And then we have his nephews, Keely and Feely, and they are and I'm laughing because the last two parts, or the full second movie, I totally kept switching Feely and Keely, and Feely is the blondish-haired dwarf, and
Feely,
Keely is a dark-haired dwarf,
Okay.
and aka the cute one, as you say, and he's the one who likes Tariel. So I felt bad because I had it set in my head that his name was Feely this whole entire time. So I was like, oh, whoops.
I had to
But
change it.
all with love.
my
They're all good
gosh.
characters,
We
and
don't know.
yeah.
His name, right, Mom?
That's okay. Well, we try though, and I know again we didn't read the book, so I did see the first two movies in theaters, and I really did enjoy them. But I didn't read the book, so the dwarf names weren't that important to me. I didn't want to be rude about it, but I really did enjoy the movies and the characters. But there's just so much going on. You're there for the entertainment,
Yes,
and I
right.
followed the main characters. But when it came
gosh.
to Dwalin, like Balin, I remember Dwalin, Balin, and all that. But the other dwarves, they don't really have much. Like Bifur with the little axe in his head, I just never even realized I was an axe in his head, and I'm still dying over that. That's so funny. It's like, really? That was a crazy braid, a really tight leathered braid or something in his head. I was like, yeah, they all have fancy braids everywhere, so
That's right.
why not randomly there? Who knows? Maybe it's a little crazy, Oh, and with Feely and Keely, they're the princes, so they're next in line, or the heirs. Feely is the actual heir to be king next after Thorin, which I didn't
Is that
really.
because he's older?
I think he's older. I thought they were twins. Again, like that doing my research.
But their rhymes, so you think.
Yeah, Feely, Kilo, a lot of
But
their
they're-
names. Yeah, but their names like really like just one letter
Yeah.
difference.
And
But
they're so close.
yeah, they're so close.
Oh.
At your service. Thranduil is Legolas's father, and he is a very important character. He's a king, and he's a very powerful king of Mirkwood, those creepy woods that we saw that was
Yes,
taken
oh.
over by evil and stuff. And I didn't really know the details going into this, except from what I heard from the first movie, where in The Hobbit, when you're getting introduced to all this stuff, so you might not have remembered, but when they were talking about Erebor back in its day, when it was in its prime and had all these riches, and the dwarves were trying to make peace with the elves, and Thranduil was there, and he wanted these white gems. At one point, the dwarves opened a chest for him that had all these white gems that he really wanted. Come to find out, the reason why he really wanted those so badly, it wasn't because of the riches, it was because he had them made specifically for his wife. And then she died a horrible death, and we don't know why, like what happened. So it's Legolas's mom. So they never tell you why, but I thought that would be a good insight to know, because we learn a little bit more about him in this one. He's so cold and everything, but he really did know love, and he really did really have feelings and care at some point. But then this thing happened, and now he's obsessed with getting these jewels back. So that's why he's spiteful against the dwarves. Besides all these other rivalry issues. And
Now, what about Elrond?
Elrond, that's a really good point. Yeah, Elrond is different. You're right. Maybe not all elves. You're right. That's actually a good point. Elrond is very open-minded. He's very caring. And as we know, or I think we discussed it before, but Aragorn is like his adopted son or something. I don't know if you guys knew that, because he grew up in Rivendell, Aragorn.
Okay.
So, and he's a man, and Elrond, even though it was hard for him, he loves Aragorn in his own way. You know, he wanted to marry Arwen. So that was very open-minded too. And that again, is a whole nother ramble, but you can, Elrond is definitely more open-minded, and but we'll go with Thranduil, that he is very, he's very closed-minded, and he's very proud, and he's spiteful against the dwarves. And that's why he turned away all those years ago when the dragon first attacked the Lonely Mountain, and the dwarves needed aid, and all the elves just walked away. Thranduil just turned his army around, and they all walked away. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Now, a question for you. What about that white stone that was in all that gold, and they were...
The Arkenstone.
Yeah,
that-
Arkenstone.
You asked that
Is
last time.
Now,
Yeah.
is that one of the pieces of stone?
No,
from
that's not the white gem
No.
that he
Okay.
wants. It's actually, the white gems are actually of a necklace that he had made for his wife. But that's a really good question. The Arkenstone is the heart of the mountain. It's like this magical, powerful gem that like solidifies you being king under the mountain. Hopefully I'm not butchering that, but you were saying last time that we never saw what happened to the Arkenstone, that the dragon, was like going around after Bilbo, and then it kind of got buried in the gold, and we never really saw what happened to it. And that's a good point. So I never even thought of that before.
Well,
So I'm
nice.
interested
You
to
always
see.
ask good questions.
Yeah, well, I love it because you guys freak
I
out
always
so
ask
much, but you
questions.
both really pay attention well, though, and it's so funny how like you guys freak out so much, but you're so invested in everything that you really, when you feel it and you're focused. So it's a cool combination that you both have that, because a lot of people, like when you're freaking out, you're not paying attention to anything else, but you really like take in every detail. And it's great that we have earbuds in as well, because then we have surround sound,
That's
and
right.
if we're freaking out, we hear each other, but at the same time we don't miss anything. It's right in our ears. End of my ramble for now. But I just wanted to put a few facts out there, and you guys remember a lot anyways, which is so cool. I'm so happy you remember most of the dwarves' names. Okay, and then the Battle of the Five Armies. What five armies? Just to say it clearly, the five armies, they're of different races, just to put that out there.
Yes.
So I know you guys probably already figured that out, but
Yeah.
because a lot of
Yes.
people, even though some races get along, most of them stay true to their own race, kind of thing. You have the elves, you have the dwarves, you have the men,
Orcs.
and the orcs, and so we'll talk about
And
that after.
who's the fifth one?
The hobbits, or just one hobbit. He's like an army of one.
Yeah, well, that's right.
He might be included in the dwarves.
Yeah.
At this point,
He's
but that's
definitely
true.
with the dwarves.
Yeah, all the hobbits come in. They're like, we can offer you food
Yeah.
because they're such
And
pleasant
drink and
folk, you know.
They like their food. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Does a trick.
Wait!
Oh.
Is that your child?
No, 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 no.
You cannot save him from the fire. He
cool.
Oh, look at all.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Might as well do it. Got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Come on.
Look at me.
Look at him. Look at
You look at me.
Right there.
Please, please, please.
Yes! Good, yes! Yes, yay! Die.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Hope it lands right on him.
Yeah, what?
What was that?
What was that? That was a big
What happened?
dragon
I
falling.
saw it.
We're leaving.
They are your people. You must go.
Come with me. I know how I feel. I'm not afraid. You make me feel alive.
I can't.
Tario. Ambraline.
Just hold her here. Oh, give her the stone.
Keep it. As a promise.
Hey, what was that?
Yeah, what's going on there?
Aw. And the precious. Wow, he's pretty. Oh boy.
Sigaret.
Nice. Yeah, he's kicked ass. Oh, just pull it off his finger. You don't have to cut it.
If you try to stop me, I will destroy you.
Ooh, see?
Yes,
Told
you
ya.
did. Good.
And she's really strong.
Oh, look at
Wow.
that.
9 for mortal men doomed to die.
Remember from Lord of the Rings?
Yay.
You should have stayed dead.
Come back up.
You have no power here, servant of Morgoth. Go back to the void from whence you
Wow. That was pretty sweet.
Wow.
He knows now. Don't take it out again.
Oh my god.
Oh, someone's gonna peer in between. Right
Oh
there.
my God,
Oh no.
right there.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh,
is
my
that?
Uh-oh. It's just an egg.
It's nothing.
It's nothing.
Show me.
Hey.
You've carried it all this way. I'm going to plant it in my garden. In Bag End.
It's quick wit.
Thorin.
Thorin, the survivors in Lake Town.
This vest is made of silver steel. Mithril. It was called by my forebears.
Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Frodo had that.
Blade can pierce it.
That's right.
Bilbo gave it to Frodo.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
True friends are hard to come by. The Arkenstone.
What about it?
One of them has taken it.
It is a fell place, Tauriel. In another age, our people waged war on those lands. My mother died there. My father does not speak of it. There is no grave, no memory.
I've grown very fond of them, and I would save them if I can. But Thorin values this stone above all else. In exchange for its return, I believe he will give you what you are owed. There will be no need for war.
Good thinking. Holy crap!
Oh my
Excuse me. Oh.
We have this. Thieves! How came you by the heirloom of our house? That stone belongs to the king.
The stone is real. I gave it to them. You are changed, Thorin. The dwarf I met in Bag End would never have gone back on his word.
Throw him from the rampart!
Don't.
Do you not hear me? No! Cursed be the wizard that forced you on this company! You don't like my burglar! Then please, don't damage him. Return him to me. Never again will I have dealings with wizards! Or Shire rats!
Oh,
I will have war.
Oh, come on.
I had to feel my sword.
Oh, you're gonna have it all right.
Hey! Thorin! Thorin for Tushkam! You think I give a dead dog for your threats, you pointy-eared princess? Lethal!
Oh my god! They broke him up? So cool! Oh no!
Hey! How do you like that? The old twiddly whirlies!
Twiddly whirlies?
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Oh, come on! Fight to the death!
We're gonna have to fight the orcs.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get together.
Come on, guys. Wow. Wow, that's impressive. Oh my god, this is crazy. Yes.
Yeah,
Good.
So cool.
yes.
Wow.
So much grace.
Wow. That was pretty cool. Ooh, that's using your head. Ooh, good boy. No, he's gonna die.
Oh no.
Good. Good boy. What a brave boy. Get down, watch out.
Oh, jeez.
That's good.
Wow.
Oh my god. Oh, that was good.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Oh,
he's a fighter.
Oh no.
That's how it ends.
Oh
Oh,
my
that's so
goodness.
horrible.
Oh, jeez.
Again, I was
That's
curious when
right.
they were going to end it. I thought it was going to be before the battles because I feel like that's a trend, but not this time.
God.
There's just too much going on. Oh, poor Dwalin.
Oh, yeah.
He's so
right.
loyal to
Oh,
Thorin.
he
and
is.
You can
He's
really,
trying to tell him, you know, you're really changing.
yeah.
You're worse now than.
He's man.
That's saying a lot because they're such strong, proud people, and they love each other. And for a while,
they're
with
very
Thorin,
respectful.
That's right.
yeah, very respectful. And for a while, with Thorin going crazy, they still step back and let him say his piece and whatnot. But now it's just gone too far. Just to think gold's
Definitely.
more important than life, to the extent
Life is
There's a lot of blood.
Life
yeah.
is cheap, yeah. Can use as much blood as we can spare.
Right.
Look, that's horrible. So I do love Thorin's character, but this one he's really going to the dark
he's
side
dark
here
side,
because he has the
yeah.
dragon sickness. So
That's right.
That's right.
when I first saw this, I got kind of annoyed that he was still feeling the sickness. It's like, come on, but it makes sense. And being a hero of this movie, you have a lot of heroes in this movie, but being one of the main heroes, it's like you expect him just to overcome it and be like, oh, it's fine, but as realistic as this can get.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's not so easily overcome.
Oh, my gosh.
But yeah, it's crazy. So our dwarves that we've been following are just hiding behind this wall, and they want to fight.
They want to fight. They want to. They want to do what's right.
Yeah. So
They
you have
don't want
13
to
dwarves
forsake
right now.
people.
But they have all those other dwarves now coming to help them. So it shows you how loyal they all are to each other. Like once they got word, I guess from that raven that flew over, like they had the sign to go over and help out. I thought that was so cool with the weaponry in this because elves and dwarves are such proud and very interesting people, and it's kind of neat to see. I didn't want to see them go head to head against each other, but just with their weapons and their fighting styles, it was crazy seeing them go against each other. And I thought that the elves were going to one up them for sure. And the dwarves came back with heavier machinery. The elves just
those spinner
shields
things, whatever they were.
Yeah, when he called them the spinning wheel, I guess
spinning
wheels or something. I was like, what? They give them simple fun names.
They were pretty neat.
That was so freaking cool, and I like the noise they made. And it would just shatter all their arrows. Like that's like the best defense and attack. Because it did both. It deflected all the arrows and took out a lot of the elves. Pretty crazy. So them
But
going
I'm glad
against
the
each other,
elves
it's like,
turned
who's
around
really
and helped
better.
them.
That's right.
Yeah, they turned right around when the orcs and the goblins or whatever they were, all
had
the
to get together
badness
to fight
came.
the orcs.
They quickly moved over and helped each other. But I thought that was so sad. Okay, so much death, and it was really bad. But with Randall's elk, is that an elk? Like that huge
Oh my
buck
gosh, that's
elk
right.
creature?
Yeah, after he had all those guys skewered on his.
Yeah,
That
was
was so
fun. How
awesome.
many
I
on
love
there?
that. Yeah, and how that animal just kept its cool. I can imagine being through all that chaos and being an animal and not understanding and just freaking out. But, yeah, it took them all out with these awesome antlers. And I love how all the animals, too, are depicted through their race. Like, the dwarves have the pigs and the boars and the goats, or rams. They said goats. And then the elves have like these elegant like horses. And they have these elk type creatures, reindeer, bucks, whatever they are, and it's just interesting. And then the men have the horses.
Yes.
And Gandalf always has the beautiful horse. I love how all these different creatures resemble the race a little bit.
Like the orcs have those.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's a very
thing.
good. Yeah, that's actually
it's
really
really
good. Yeah, those warg things, those weird looking wolf type, like those things are so evil, so evil. So the armies that we saw here, we have the men, which was very sad because they were all from Lake Town, and those poor people.
I know, they've been through so much. They're so exhausted. Then you have the dwarves.
Yeah, and then you have the dwarves, and then you have
men.
Yeah, and then you have the men. Well, what do we say? The men, the dwarfs. And then we have the elves, and then the orcs. From what I read, because I did hear and I did see some of this, but you have the elves, men, and dwarves. Those were the three main ones in the beginning. And then you have the orcs, but if you read the description, it says goblins and wargs. And the wargs are those wolf-type creatures, but I didn't think, maybe they are a little bit intelligent because, of course, they don't eat their riders. But I didn't think that they would be their own kind of army, because they're led by the orcs and stuff, are ridden by the orcs. Yeah. So what about the bats? What about those other creatures bred for war? Like, I don't know. I was like, well, I guess so. So they're saying men, elves, dwarves, goblins, and wargs. Yeah. But I'm like, well, what about the orcs too? So 6 armies, like, so maybe they'll go hand in hand. I don't know. So please leave in the comments below what you think are the 5 main armies.
Yes, that's for sure.
Because I would think it would be men, elves, dwarves. I just like saying that, and orcs. And I guess you'd have to pick one, wargs, I guess, but I just don't see them as their own
all
army.
of the above.
But they are very lethal, so I wouldn't want to be near one of those.
For sure.
But I love all their different fighting styles. It was so fun to watch, and all the special effects, everything put into this is just so amazing. I get so like pulled in, and now watching it with you guys again, this is the first time watching this. I've seen this once before. I've only seen parts of this one, and I'm really just focused and really watching all the techniques and how they're dodging attacks and fighting. It's just insane, and all the details that they think up. It's so neat when you see them interact and grab like one of their enemies' weapons and use it for their own, like Iron Hill or whatever. When he like dwarf like grabbed the orc spear and like speared another orc, and it's just so cool on how they think of all these different fighting styles, or fighting techniques. So, do you have a favorite? Although you shouldn't be divided like that, but do you have a favorite race that you like or no? Of all the different races that we see,
I like the dwarves.
The dwarves, I think, are hilarious. I mean, I do enjoy a lot of them. The elves and the dwarves, I really do enjoy it in this particular movie. And the dwarves I find hilarious because they're so proud and so strong and headstrong and stubborn.
Any relief of, happiness. They're like,
they're like, whoop! I like when they did that, like, because they know elves are, like, spot on. Like, they always get their targets when they all duck. Except Thorin. That's the only bow drawn. That scene was actually really funny.
And Bilbo taking a stance and really going over and
he's amazing. He's very stealthy. And him and Thorin are really good friends now, and it really hurt Bilbo when he went back thinking that, I'm not afraid of Thorin, he's not going to hurt me over this, but he's not himself anymore. So.
That's right. Exactly.
And when he hopped back over the wall to get back down to Gandalf, I felt so bad because you could tell he was so scared. He's been through so much. I am so proud of you for wearing Bofur's hat throughout the entire movie.
She likes it. She likes it.
Yeah, you look so cute in it. I love it. Thumbs up for Kim.
I'm glad I didn't have to wear a mustache today.
Oh, that would have been so funny. I did have one for Jack Sparrow a long
time
ago, which they haven't seen Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, I love that hat. That always cracks me up. Wow. But yeah, we did see a lot in this one, and I can't wait to see what the other one entails. Now, with the extended version, I really do like the extended parts in these movies so far because they're fun and they're very involved. The Lord of the Rings, I'm just saying it in a very light way, like, I really enjoyed the extended versions of that as well, but I feel like there's more, I could be wrong, but I feel like there's more action in the extended scenes on The Hobbit. And with The Hobbit, too, I thought it was going to be, like, too long with the extended because I know a lot of fans, like especially the purists of Tolkien, don't really care for The Hobbit so much, at least the movies, because they really stretched it out and added all these other elements that weren't true to the books. And a lot of book readers, for anything, really are against that. Again, I'm just keeping it lighthearted because I know a lot of people can argue, debate a lot of different things, but all in all, not reading the books, I really do enjoy these movies. I think they're fun, and the extended is a good option. Just saying. Just saying.
And we don't know what was extended or what wasn't. So
it doesn't matter to you guys at all. Yeah.
Now, how about, is it Ganadra? What's her name?
I know the names. I give you guys credit for trying to really understand the names, but I used to say Galadriel, but it's Galadriel. I think it's Galadriel. Yes.
How she changed like that to get rid of.
Now, I think that's so cool how powerful she is, and I love that. I love how powerful, like, she's like light against darkness, and I don't understand, like, exactly what her power is. Like, I know she's a high elf, and she can control and has power that many elves don't have, but I don't know if she, like, absorbs evil and uses it against, because, evil, but when she, like, used that power where she gets, like, all white, and it's, what do you call that?
And then when she got up and...
She kind of turned evil looking. Yeah. So I kind of wonder if she took in some evil because she was dying because she didn't have the light anymore or something. And she uses that to deflect evil, I guess. So if you can please describe that more in the comments, that'd be awesome.
So
she got very weak. She used a lot of her power. Yeah. So she must, like, absorb power and throw it back or something. But I've always been interested in that. The idea of what she does is really cool. But I think it's very dramatic and it almost makes me laugh. And I don't mean it in a mean way. But when she gets, like, over the top dramatic, blah, blah, blah.
That was pretty.
I mean, it is neat though. But I just found myself giggling a little bit because it's so extreme. But it does bring its point across, and I think she's an awesome character. I think
it's almost like a mother screaming Panther.
I know. Can you imagine? But Gandalf could kind of do something like that too, because when he gets all like dominant and trying to get his point across, he gets like that deep voice, but then like darkness kind of envelops everything, and you could feel like the crumbling. You can hear all the sound effects, and so it's not really the same, but it kind of like reminds me of that. And what's going on with Galadriel and Gandalf? I guess they had a thing. All the ages of the different races in this are very different. Where elves are immortal, so they've been around for a very, very, very long time. Gandalf has also been around for a very long time, as we know, because he looks the same, and this is like many, many years ago, before the Lord of the Rings. I know dwarves, because I had to look that up too, and all your wonderful comments also explain all these details to me, but the dwarves also live very long lives as well. So us men, like, and women, don't really have long lifespans compared to all the other species or races out there. But that'd be kind of interesting living for that long, you know, for a few hundred thousands of years. Who knows?
Yeah,
like you get kind of bored, and that's where
Kinda
you get all like
scary when
super
you think
proper.
about it.
You learn all the ways, and all right. So sorry about that. The camera died. So Kim was making a really good point because she was saying that Bilbo was talking to Balin about the fact that Balin actually kind of knew that Bilbo might have the Arkenstone, and said that it probably would give him sickness if he handed it over. So I think Bilbo made the right choice. He can hopefully make peace, but there's a lot of war going on right now.
That's right.
And I think Bilbo was he was too out there, not helping look for the Arkenstone, just being a little conspicuous, not being as conspicuous as he should have been. But they were clueless. They didn't really.
Maybe it was more for us watching, like, so we kind of get the picture kind of thing. But you're right, like, I'd be like, oh, I'm looking, I don't know.
But, you know, he could have said also, you know, I did look. I came here originally and confronted the dragon, so I pretty much did my fair share of looking.
Yeah, or maybe be like, the dragon ate it, and it's in the water somewhere. Like, get him out of there. I don't know.
Poop it out quick.
I know. Oh, yeah, right. So that's actually a good point. Sorry.
But Kim was right. He did have the stone.
Yeah.
So,
I think
they
both
didn't
had
show
that.
it.
Yeah.
They didn't show him drop it.
Mm-hmm. And I always try not to say anything because I knew that Bilbo had the stone already, but I was surprised in how quick you picked up on that. So I was like, oh yeah, I don't know. So I really try not to show or express any emotions so that way you catch on. But we always have a lot of fun doing this, and you guys never ask for spoilers or pry, so that's awesome. And don't really look over at me when I'm like, so I try not to express. I try to stay very subtle when
I notice how
I know what's going to happen.
You're not doing anything at all.
Yeah, except you can always tell when we do go into something blind, all three of us, because like I'll be freaking out and I'm annoying, you know, because I'm like, ah. But I really do enjoy this movie.
I liked it. I like the Bargeman's kids.
Yeah,
and his son is really heroic.
I mean, he's so wonderful. He's
really
so
stepping up.
brave. He actually, even in Lake Town, when everything was on fire and the dragons flying above, and he jumped off that boat, that safety net. He just jumped off that boat and went right to help his father with the black arrow because he knew. So that whole scene was so crazy. Thank God Bard hit his mark. Can you imagine? I love the idea of Smaug because he is so powerful and just so intimidating. Look, I just love how when he speaks and how well animated he is. We should really at some point, because there's always fun stuff to do on our channel, of course, we really have to start watching behind the scenes footage of this, of Harry Potter, of all these different things, because of all the like effort and work that's been put into all of this. It's insane, like stuff that you wouldn't even think of. And like we said before, that Benedict Cumberbatch actually did Smaug, like, and it kind of sounds like him, but not really, because they manipulated his voice. But he's so well, like, he just acts it out so well, and they use even his facial expressions and everything in Smaug when he was talking. So I saw some of the behind the scenes footage of that, and we totally have to watch it. It's really cool in how he did it, even like how he's crawling and stuff. Like, he was full on the floor with these special sensors all over his face and everything, and he was just talking, and so when the dragon's walking with his big like arm wing things and he's going around with his talons, that was him just on the floor just crawling around. It was so crazy. I also wanted to say that when I first saw this, I didn't realize that, again, not reading the books, but that Smaug actually dies in the beginning of the film. I was actually kind of annoyed when I first saw it because I really wanted him to be one of the focal bad guys throughout the rest of the film and be in the battle or something, but how far can you go with that? Like, he would just take out everybody. Like, that would be so easily won.
They were doomed enough already.
So it was good watching it this time, like fully now, because again, I didn't watch it all the way through, but it's definitely more fun.
I thought he was going to be more verbally torturous to Lake Town.
Yeah, he was
before he just burned everybody up. I thought he was going to like, I'm going to do this to you.
Yeah, because he was really building
run,
it up.
I'm still going to catch
movie.
you. You know, I'm still going to burn you.
And at that point, he was just so enraged that he didn't care anymore. I guess he just wanted to. But you're right. Like I thought there would be more of that too. Like he'd be taunting. He did taunt a little bit, especially the bowman with Bard. I love that whole scene. How he's talking and how he just like charges at him. It's like what the frick? And then Bard was so cool. And he's like, look at me, son. And yeah, his kid's awesome.
Right.
But it was kind of neat how Smaug died, and that and in sequence of him just like breathing, and you see everything like moving. And
now we just got to get that mean orc guy.
Oh God, Azog, however you say his name. Yeah, him and Bolg. I hate those two orcs. So horrible. But yeah.
Sure.
So I guess we'll end it there because this is a lot of fun, and I so can't wait to watch the other part. I know we do it a week apart, but at least we make time for it, which is great because movies always take more time.
Is that the last one?
We have one more part, and then we're done with the Tolkien series for now. But I'm like, for now, because I'm always hoping for more. I know a lot of people are like, end it with Lord of the Rings, but I find them a lot of fun. We'll probably do, hopefully, behind-the-scenes stuff. And there are a lot of funny videos online that people have been requesting for us to watch that are related to the Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and alongside behind-the-scenes stuff. I want to start doing, especially when I go full-time and I can edit faster, I want to be able to do behind-the-scenes stuff for a lot of things that we've seen, especially Game of Thrones and the lores. I want to continue that as well. There's so many fun things you can do, guys. Yeah. But, you know, Game of Thrones, I know. Yay! Because of all of you and all your wonderful help through Patreon. We love you guys. You make all this possible for us.
That's right.
So we do what we can, and we're always together, which is great. And you're right there with us. Yay! So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you very soon as always. Bye!